Watch our mouse here as we click the Indicators, Metrics, and Strategies menu. Now we make sure that Technicals is selected, and we have Patterns selected, and now we click All Chart Patterns, and just like that, the Automated Chart Pattern tool has discovered a technical pattern right before us. And what's so fascinating about this is look at the candle right now as we're recording this video. It quite literally touched the top of this pattern and then came back down. So automated chart patterns really makes technical analysis possible for anyone. You can automate this and instantly see patterns on your chart. So that is how you use it. And if you're a TradingView expert, go to Technicals, hit Patterns, and have some fun. Go test this out right now. Now we are going to take a step back here for a second because we want to make sure that we give you a beginner tutorial of how to use this tool and what it means. So first of all, chart patterns are classical tools in technical analysis. These patterns have been observed time and time again. They've been studied, and they are the study of price history and pattern recognition. The reason why these patterns are important in the first place is because people just like you and I are trading all these symbols, and oftentimes similar patterns occur amongst us. So in this example, what we're going to do is show you how this works. We're going to go back to about May 3rd here. Let's go to May 1st. And now we're back on May 1st and pretend we are thinking of trading this stock. We've just observed it, and we're going to do some technical research on this, trying to find where the support might be, where the sellers or buyers are. And we first start with a trend line because we observe this sort of downward force that's been on the stock since this point in time. There has been resistance and selling along this entire trend line. Didn't quite touch here, but it sort of happened again at the time of this drawing. In addition, we're trying to find some support. Are there buyers? Are there any buyers? Where could the buyers be? These are the questions you might ask as you analyze this chart. And what we've done is we've drawn this line here right through these points because even though price is declining, it seems to find a bottom according to this trend line for whatever reason. Nonetheless, this is how we discover where the buyers and sellers are. And when you look at this, this is a wedge because the wedge is closing as it goes down, and it's a falling wedge because it's going down. But before we place a trade or even consider what we want to do next, what we can do is use the automatic chart patterns tool to fact check our work or to double check our work or to get a second opinion. So we're going to click falling wedge pattern, we're going to exit and check that out. While our falling wedge does not match up perfectly with the automatic chart pattern tool, it does provide some insight and some new things we can take away from having this sort of second opinion, from having this technical analysis sidekick. For example, when we drew this line, we actually did not even think to draw the line this far back up, and that just demonstrates even more price history. That just shows that maybe the trend is even stronger than we initially thought. And now it kind of opens our eyes up if we should go back further, but apparently there's nothing else back there. In addition, you may notice that the tool also shows these lines of support and sort of the waves of it moving and a price target here. That is not something that we drew before, and that is a great mindset to be in. But first of all, these are never recommendations. These are never exact targets. These are just estimations. They are essentially saying, here's an interesting way to think about this pattern, and based on all the other patterns that came before it, based on everything that people say about technical analysis, this target is a measured move that is potentially worth watching. Of course, your own research should either validate that or sort of, show something that demonstrates why that's not going to happen. Nonetheless, the point of the price target is it reminds you of, that's right, you drew this pattern because you think if it breaks out, it could go higher. That's the beauty of the price target, and that's how you should be looking at that. In addition, you can always right-click now or double-click on these tools and customize them completely. So the new chart patterns tool can be fully customized, and the input setting is far more robust than it's ever been. Because, for example, you have some filtering options for the patterns that you add to the chart, as well as the price targets that you add to the chart. So you can either see all patterns or just patterns that are forming and have already been reached, or prior patterns, or only those that are waiting to be reached. Same with price targets. And then, of course, nonetheless, you have some options to sort of expand the pattern that you've placed on the chart. What this means is that every technical pattern that you place on the chart, or that the chart finds for you, so if you click automated chart patterns and it finds a pattern, you can adjust the settings here in the inputs menu to sort of open up the possibilities, or to narrow it depending on what type of, in this case, wedge you like to draw. So you like to draw. So nonetheless, be sure that you experiment with this, because it depends. Are you a very specific technical analyst where you only want it to be perfect, less width, it should be absolutely on the point, or are you open to more different types of drawings? You can make this number larger. And of course, let's change the color, because this target is actually showing that it's a bullish move. So why don't we go ahead and make sure this is all green, so that just looks a little more bullish, because it's a bullish move after all. So you can also now do that, and there are some other labeling options that you have full control over as well, depending on your sort of preference. So some people might just want a shaded area without the lines. We'll keep the lines in though for this example. And let's go ahead now and click play and see how this all plays out. And it breaks out from the falling wedge here. Turns out to be a fairly decent trade actually. And ever since it broke out, as you can probably observe already, price has not really closed below it. So in that sense, this type of example is a very unique and interesting use case for you to explore when you are using the new automatic chart patterns tool. We're going to go ahead and click pause now and just demonstrate how the pattern tool, the automatic charts pattern tool, is always searching. You may have noticed that when we click play, it found another falling wedge. It never turns off. When you have automatic chart patterns turned on, or for that matter, even candlestick patterns, there's a video on our YouTube channel, check it out. The TradingView platform will always be searching. It will never stop searching for the exact technical pattern that you've selected. Now we've exited out of replay mode so that you can see now all the other wedges that have been detected over time. We're actually going to delete this and clear it up and just give you a clear view. So now you can see that there has been 1, 2, 3 wedges detected over this time frame on a 4-hour chart. And in addition, what's unique about this as well is, let's say you do spot a pattern. So in this example, we spot this wedge. We use the automatic chart patterns, we'd spot this wedge. Well, one of the things we're going to want to ask ourselves is, has the market or this chart respected wedges before? Are there traders out there, or bots, or fund managers, or institutional money, anything of the sort, that have sort of respected this type of price action before? We can now zoom out, see all of the other wedges that have been selected, and we can actually see there was one formed here, and price did indeed make it up, not quite exactly to the target, but once it broke out, it moved. In addition, we can see that in our earlier example, there was the wedge here, and once it broke out, it really took off and even hit its target here. So in that sense, it's 2 for 2 on wedges. Does that mean it could be 3 for 3? That's really for you to do your research and analyze, but perhaps it does mean that there are more technical traders following and respecting this stock than maybe you knew otherwise of. So that is the automatic chart patterns tool, including all of the new features that are now available. And it is fully open to you as a member of TradingView. Make sure you're signed up. Make sure that you have a paid plan, because all of the access to these tools, including the candlestick patterns, does depend on the tier of your plan. And all chart patterns, this all chart patterns tool, is especially effective because what it's doing is it is looking for every single pattern in technical analysis. And look at that, another falling wedge. And if you have the all chart patterns tool selected and really go to any time frame, it will basically be searching all the time for every pattern. So how cool is that? The patterns are searching. It's just discovered. It looks like it even found an inverse head and shoulder. So check that out. You have an inverse head and shoulders here. And let's now delete this And if we go to the indicators, metrics, and strategies menu and have pattern selected, now we know where to get started. We could click inverse head and shoulders pattern because that caught our attention. Or once again, you could just leave all chart patterns on, and every day you come back to this chart, a new pattern might be detected, and then you can do your research, make better decisions, and really just learn something new about price action and price history by letting these patterns be automatically detected for you. So thanks so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed this new tool, and please leave your comments and questions below.